I want to welcome you to our virtual watch party. I am recording this in advance because of course we can't do anything in person, and we were so hoping to be able to do our Quinny Business Achievement Award winners in person, where you got to meet our members that have been honored this year with these awards. That being said, we have invited them in to see us here at the log cabin, and I also want to thank Trenval Bell for sticking with us as sponsors for today's event. So I'm going to guide us through a few of the questions, and then we'll give you an opportunity to hear the responses from our winners this year.
We were honored to sponsor the Winner Circle last month, and we're certainly very happy to support today's virtual luncheon. This watch party is a great opportunity to celebrate Belleville Chamber member businesses, so hats off to Clearview Training and Consulting, Hitchon's Hearing Center, O'Flynn Weese LLP, Quinny Weese Solutions, and the Belleville General Hospital Foundation. You guys all did a great job, and we're very proud of you on your 2020 Quinny Business Achievement Award wins. We'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the other 10 QBAA winners. Wonderful job, and all 117 nominees should be very proud of their accomplishments. As well, the hats off to the Chamber of Commerce staff, the QBAA volunteers for delivering a virtual celebration during this time of pandemic. We're so happy for all the work that you do in our community. And before you enjoy today's lunch prepared by Feta and Olives, Jack Cook's Weese Sports Pub, and Sanssouci, I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that Trenval is a lender of opportunity. Our goal is to help you succeed. One example is the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund. If you haven't heard of this fund already, it's a local COVID mitigation funding program offering interest-free loans of up to $40,000. It has a 25% forgivable portion if 75% of that loan is repaid by December 31st, 2022. If you have any questions about Trenval, would like to learn about any of our programs, please contact me or a member of our team, and we'd be happy to help out wherever we can. I thank you so much for your time, and enjoy today's lunch watch party. Goodbye.
So each year, the Quinny Business Achievement Awards highlights the achievements of a number of different businesses in a variety of categories. And in order for someone to be nominated and become a winner, they go through a fairly extensive process. So in June of each year, the nominations are opened, and anybody can nominate any business. So these come from local businesses, customers, their peers. But we do offer to help you with the nomination package, because what we do find is difficult is once you've been nominated, then you have to complete an application form. That application form is what goes to the judges, and the judging panel, which is comprised of the chambers of commerce that are involved, the municipalities that are involved, and some other regional representatives through BDC, through the Royal Bank, through QEDC, through the Quinny Manufacturers Association. We have a number of people that sit on that panel, and then we bring in experts on special types of environments like the tourism piece and agribusiness, for example. So as a group, we sit together, and only 3 of us might review 1 or 2 categories, so there's never any one person that sees all of the applications. Anyway, as a result, the nominees who complete the packages are then put into these categories that they've selected, and then that small panel will review the application, and that's how the winners are chosen. So the first question I'm going to ask each of our winners today is really just introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about their organization, and we'll see what they have to say. We hope that that's an easy enough question for each of them to answer. We're here with John Matsorakos from Flynn Weese, and you won the Quinny Business Achievement Award for Regulated Profession. Tell us about you, for sure, and a little bit about the organization.
Okay, thank you. So our firm was very happy to win. I had been practicing only at O'Flynn Weese. I articled in Toronto. I was from the area. I got hired at O'Flynn Weese to start my practice, and like most people who get hired at O'Flynn Weese, nobody ever leaves. We're there for our whole career, both staff and lawyers. I practice in the litigation department, but our firm serves everyone. We have litigation lawyers if you're going to court. We have solicitors who do real estate, wills and estates, corporate commercial, planning and development. The neat thing about the firm is we can trace our roots back to 1886, and the firm has evolved since then, passing down through partners, and of course started small with 2 lawyers. And the most, I'd say, more current iteration is when John O'Flynn Jr., who had practiced with his father, John O'Flynn Sr., partnered up with Steve Weese, who came to town, and shortly after, John O'Flynn Jr. was our first lawyer from our firm to be appointed as a judge. We've had 4 more since then. Then Steve Weese ended up merging his practice with Wolf Tausenfreund's practice to become O'Flynn Weese Tausenfreund in the early 80s. And they bought a beautiful old red brick building at the corner of Church and Bridge Streets in Belleville, and that's where we've practiced since. And now in our current situation, where Steve Weese has now officially retired and unfortunately left the area, but always a phone call away, and we currently have 9 lawyers practicing still in all different practices and carrying on the tradition of the firm, but the name will always remain the same because that's typically the nature of legal practices, and we're not so concerned about identifying ourselves in the firm name as what we do in being known as a firm.
We have Nicole Iasenza here from Hitchon's Hearing Center, and I'm so excited that you were the recipient of the Quinny Business Achievement Award for Health and Wellness this year.
Thank you.
So please tell us a little bit about the background of Hitchon's and your involvement there.
So Hitchon's has been in business for over 60 years. We have 3 offices. Belleville was the full-time office, and we had Picton and Trenton as satellite offices. And then as the business grew, the other 2 clinics became full-time. So I'm a specialist in the Belleville office and the co-owner of Belleville and Picton. The services that we provide, we do hearing protection, so that we're actually protecting people's ears before they come to us for hearing aids. We do testing and the fitting of hearing aids, and also put great emphasis on the aftercare, so counseling and follow-up. We do a lot of community shows in the past, not so much this year, but we try to do outreach that way too, because a lot of people are a little bit apprehensive about coming into the clinic, but when you're out in the public, you're more approachable. So they come to you and ask you about different problems that they're having.
A little more forthright in that situation, like I
Yeah.
can't really hear what's going on. Is that something you can help me with?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm Gary MacDonald, and I'm the CEO and founder for Clearview Training and Consulting. We're a local business training boutique company. We have about 12 trainers, and we serve clients right across Canada. We've been operating for about 12 years, and we have clients in government, business, and nonprofits. And my heart is always nonprofits, because that's what I did for almost 40 years, is nonprofit leadership.
And you've told me a little bit about your past and where you came from, and maybe give us a little bit of that.
So we came down here, my family and my wife and I came down here in 1981 to the Quinty area. And in fact, my mother was born here, where the Belleville Airport is, where the Belleville Airport was. That home there was my great-great-grandfather's. They came over just after the potato famine, and deep Irish roots. My mom was a Lynch, and she moved in the area. It wasn't until I actually moved back here that my mom says, I was actually born in Belleville. So it was kind of an interesting, but when we moved here, it was a big change from moving from Toronto to Sterling, you can imagine. It was a challenge, but we came to serve a nonprofit in this area called Youth Unlimited. That was our desire. And I decided to come for 5 years. We stayed almost 30 years in that role. And then when I left the organization, that's when I started Clearview. And my wife's a marriage and family therapist, and we have a ranch in Sterling and equine assisted psychotherapy. So we have a lot of clients in the business part and in the counseling part.
So I'm here now with Stephen Cook from the Belleville General Hospital Foundation, and they were the Quinny Business Achievement Award recipients for Nonprofit of the Year. And I'd just like to thank you for joining us today. And when you introduce yourself, perhaps you'd like to give a brief history of your tenure at the organization and maybe what it was and where it's going.
So I arrived in Belleville in July 2018, so I was fortunate enough to be offered the position by Heather Smith, who was my predecessor, as an interim executive director, and Since then, I guess in the 2.5 years or so since I've been here, it's been a steep learning curve realistically in the hospital sector. I think it's an ever-changing landscape. We've got a fantastic team, and I think realistically, we're all working towards that goal of providing exceptional care close to home here in Belleville. So, as the healthcare partner to Quinny Healthcare, we would typically try and give the hospital $1.5 to $2 million annually in funds to replace equipment across the departments. That process starts in the fall each year and runs through to February, and we basically sit down with senior figures and departmental directors and establish the needs. We categorise them, we rank them in order of priority, and then we go through and make a commitment. That's one part of the process, and then above and beyond that, we would look at multi-year projects, expansion planning, service delivery, right the way through into the future, perhaps 10 years down the line for large capital-intensive projects as well.
One of the reasons that we engage our winners in this conversation each year is because we know a little bit more about the nomination process. So the first question we ask in that regard is, how did it feel to be nominated?
The nomination, you feel good about getting nominated. You're in a group of other respected businesses. So we were very proud of being nominated.
Obviously we were honoured and humbled really, I guess, because obviously, my impression of Belleville is that it's a very philanthropic area. There's some very passionate and generous donors here, and like I said to you earlier, everybody has their cause, and they're all very deserving. And whether that's a new hospice build, or United Way, or Three Oaks, and so to be offered that award against such great, credible organisations, I think is a real achievement for our team.
Well, we won the specialized service category for 2020, and we were flabbergasted. I was at home, because we had to do it virtual, and we were at home doing this, and I get quite emotional, and my wife had to come and hug me, and as soon as she did, my kids were phoning, because I have 4 children. We have 3 natural children and a foster daughter. Each one of them were phoning within a second. The calls were coming through, and I'm trying to stop it. So it was an honor to be recognized by my peers and by the community, because there was a lot of people, even in my category, that were very highly qualified people that run businesses of integrity and what they do for the community. So it was an honor to be chosen the one.
Well, I guess like a lot of people, we were shocked. We didn't actually believe it. Lawyers aren't used to getting public recognition. We certainly always appreciate it when we get it from our clients. But we were absolutely floored, and we had to go back and check the website 2 or 3 times to make sure we actually were nominated. And it was a real pleasure, because like I said, we don't find that, which is fine with us, that there's not public recognition, but we thought it was quite interesting that someone wanted to do that and felt we had provided potentially an exceptional service to be recognized. And so that led us to make sure that we took the process very seriously, and because it gave us a chance to really talk about what we do and why we've been around so long and why we believe we continue to excel in what we do for our clients.
The third question that we ask is, what did you feel about the whole nomination package? So what some of those don't understand is that once someone has been nominated, then they have to complete a whole application to support the nomination. And this asks a number of questions about the business and how they've achieved success, what those criteria are, some of the special things that they've done, and of course with COVID this year, some of those answers could have been quite involved. Anyway, we do ask our nominees, or our winners this year, what did they feel about that process?
And we found it not cumbersome at all. We were in touch with the group when they said we're in a running. We filled in the information. It took about an hour. Actually gave us a chance to reflect about what makes our company unique from other companies. So it took some time of reflection with the team to say, what is it about us that sets us apart from, not better, but makes us unique from other people. So actually it was a great process for us to do. It took less than an hour to complete, and they were great at coming back to us with some information they needed and logos and pictures and that sort of thing. But yeah, the process was fairly simple and easy to do from our standpoint.
And we often offer our help with that process as well, partly because when you're in the middle of your business, you're not always thinking about what makes you unique. Now, I would say from your specialized service and your background, you are uniquely qualified to complete an application because that's a big part of what you do with the organizations that you help as well. Maybe we talk a little bit about how your service can support organizations and the funding that you get to help that.
Yeah, we're in a unique situation that we service clients, as I say, in all three groups, in business and government and nonprofits. Not for the government, but for the business and nonprofits. We help organizations get the training they need, first of all, by understanding what they need. I don't know what they need. They know what they need. They're the experts. And then we're actually able to access grants from the government for people to get training that almost covers the full cost. And they're blown away that this money's available because most people don't even know it's available. And the lights come on when they go, you mean there's a fund we can do this? And the grant takes an hour to apply for, so it's kind of simple.
The application process for me as well felt very daunting. When you look at the application, you feel like it's really easy to say really nice things about other people, about their attributes and their service to the community and their achievements. It's really difficult to say that about yourself, right? So last year when we were nominated, you had approached me and asked if you could be of assistance with that, and I was very grateful for that because sitting with you, you maybe pointed out things that, you know, I knew that we did, but it's hard to say verbally. You feel like you're tooting your own horn, and you don't always want to do that. So it was very helpful to have that assistance by you. And once we started talking about things, the flow of doing that application didn't seem to be as daunting. It was good. And you work hard every day. If you can put that hard work into your job every day, then filling out an application isn't so hard.
This year, you obviously did it all on your own. When we had that conversation last year, it was exactly all about that. You need to think about what you do well because you're so deeply involved with the business on a day-to-day basis. You're not really paying attention to what that looks like on the outside. And so were you able to expand on some of that this year?
I did, yes. I actually look back at the last application that we did, and then I took some time to really sit down and think, okay, what did we do within this last year? And there were some challenges, so I actually put that in the application, that even though there was challenges where we couldn't necessarily get out in the community and do things the way that we were doing them before, that we were still able to, like virtually with some of them. We already had things booked that got canceled and they did it online, so we were still involved in that. So that was some of the things that I pointed out, or some of the service that we provided for our clients when they weren't able to come into the clinic. So I felt it a little bit easier because I could look back at what we had done and then just kind of elaborate on that.
Well, the questions weren't necessarily what we expected, and it made it do some thinking about what we think sets us apart and we do well. And interestingly, it brought us around to it's almost more about our staff than it is the lawyers. I mean, the lawyers, we are successful in what we do well, but we also feel that behind every great lawyer is a great staff person. And if you have a great lawyer, they're not going to get as far with an average staff person as great staff people. So it ended up that a lot of our application was thinking about our staff and what they do for us and what we do for them and why we think that makes a difference in our firm. The number of long-term staff, 3 just recently retired with over 25 years of service. Most of them have over 20 years of service. And the fact that when we hire anybody at our firm, we hire for the long term. We don't do short-term hires. Every time we sit down with a lawyer, whether it's an articling student or an incoming lawyer, we say, this is not a stopgap solution. We picture you being here long term. Do you picture doing it? We have the same conversation with staff. We have staff that we hired straight out of college that have been with us over 20 years, or staff that we brought over from other disciplines. And in fact, we have 2 new staff hiring this month. Things have been going, fortunately for us, so well that not only have we been able to keep our staff, but we've had to expand our staff, and we're starting with 2 new people again, one with a bit of experience, one with no experience whatsoever, but the right attitude. And we think that the right attitude will carry that and represents the way we operate as our firm, because it's more about how we act and how we treat our customers than just what goes behind the closed doors.
I think that's what we always find with the application process, and in the beginning it seems like it's going to be relatively easy to answer those questions, but it does offer that introspection, and in a legal situation certainly it's a different approach, it's a service that you offer, but we find for some of our other businesses, they're in the midst of the business and they don't think about the impact they have on their clients or their customers. And did you find that was kind of the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had to, it makes you stop and think, first of all, how many clients do we serve in a year? We only each as lawyers tend to pay attention to our own client list and how much we have open. So, I learned that we service roughly 2,500 clients a year. We find out that we service all across the province. We have always been in Belleville, basically focus on the Quinny area, but make us realize how broad our scope is in terms of what we provide. So all of those things that we never would have thought about, and like I said, give us the opportunity to talk about what we think makes us special. And most people, I think, when they think about a law firm, they think about how, hopefully the lawyers are really good, but we had an opportunity to say, not just to our clients one-on-one, but kind of speaking out loud to say, we think our staff is great, and we think that's what makes the difference.
So when I received the email, obviously you're excited, and then you open the email and look at the application, and you think, oh, this is longer than I thought. So it does take some real consideration and thought, and clearly when you're nominated for something as prestigious as this award, you naturally want to do it justice. So yeah, I really spent some time on it, and the time that I felt it deserved, and tried to just communicate the foundation in the best way that I thought possible. So clearly, it made an impact, and there's a real sense of relief, I guess, that the outcome was favourable for us anyway.
And the last question that we ask our winners is, has this recognition changed anything for you? Or how has it impacted your business in any way?
Winning the Quinny Business Achievement Award in the Specialized Service has impacted my business. It's awareness. A lot of clients we've already worked, we have hundreds of clients. I'm even getting calls from them, just so proud that they were part of our success. And I was telling them how proud I was that they would support us in that way. But in terms of other ones that don't know us, as you know, business is all about trust and about relationships. So it's opened up a lot more conversations, for those trusting conversations with individuals to say, is there a match here? Is something we provide meeting their needs? So in that way, it's had a huge impact on our business. And it's an honor. I've never won an award before, so except for grade 3, maybe a drawing contest. So it's big news for us. And not just for us, but our team. There's 11 facilitators on our team. They all run their own organizations, but I bring them in as part of our team because they have specialties in certain areas. So it's been an honor on behalf of me and our whole team.
I think it has. We've had people reach out to us, new clients or clients that we already have, saying that they heard that we won the award. And I also think that having it acknowledged, the MPs and the mayor, we accepted the award at Trenval, doing this interview with the chambers, that once that is done, that the community, if they don't know about a service and they're looking for a service, that actually tells them that you're a respected company that is acknowledged for the work that you do.
I think so, definitely, yes, because in a pandemic, a once in a generation pandemic, if you like, where we all know healthcare is front of mind at the moment, we can consistently communicate and put our messages out there. I think everybody knows that we work hard, and look, you know, we're here to provide equipment in a time where everybody is worried about their health, they're worried about their family, their friends, you know, the facilities available in the hospital. I think when you're offered an award like this, not only is it a great accolade for us, but it's great as a reassurance to the community that we're doing our job, and we're doing our job well, and that they can rely on the hospital, and when the time needs it, that they'll have the healthcare staff, they'll have the building, and they'll have the equipment there to provide them with the best healthcare outcome.
Well, I know that I've had at least 2 clients since this has happened mention to me that they saw that we were award winner. And we, you know, our like many offices, we limit the number of people currently coming in because of COVID, but front and center when you come in the door now to reception, we've got our awards sitting at the front desk. I mean, we're very proud to have it. We never thought we would ever win an award like that. We just didn't think it was within the realm. So it's, I mean, we are all very proud of what we've done, and certainly it will be part of our promotional materials going forward in terms of what we have done in the community, how the community feels about us, and how we intend to be here for, you know, another 150 years or so. That's our plan.
Hello and welcome. We are so pleased to once again be sponsoring this important event with the Chamber of Commerce. It's perhaps more important than ever this year to take pause and really reflect and celebrate the achievements in the business community. To say it's taken some resilience and creativity to succeed over the past many months might just be the understatement of all time. But as business leaders, you know, as we do at Bell, that resilience and creativity is something that you need to excel at in order to succeed. Change is constant. Although we certainly hope that 2020 is the ultimate challenge we will face for years to come. The challenges that we have faced and still face are so far-reaching and impact our lives in profound ways, not the least of which is our mental health. In response to that, Bell announced a $5 million increase in Bell Let's Talk funding in response to COVID-19, with support for a range of organizations delivering urgent mental health support on the front lines of Canadian communities, including Kids Help Phone, Canadian Mental Health Association, Canadian Red Cross, Revivre, and Strongest Families Institute. I encourage each and every one of you to ensure that you are reaching out for support if you are struggling. Help is available. Once again, I want to reiterate how proud we are to be a part of this event and events like this all around the country. We applaud the business community and the community at large for continuing to reach for your goals, to adjust your sails, or dare I use the word of 2020, pivot, as required to ensure the success and survival of your organization. Congratulations to each and every one of the nominees and to the Chamber of Commerce for your ongoing commitment to the community. Stay well.
Perfect, that's great. So, just, and because I'm cutting it, that's what
Of course.
Pause. Yeah, sorry. So one of the reasons that we do want to do this little, scrap that, can be an overwhelming. And so the final question that I asked our winners today, let me go, I'll start over again.